Right, team. The reason why doctors never make their first alternative income stream is because they're focused on the wrong thing. They think it's because they need more qualifications, but in fact, what they really need is what no one ever talks about. It's the key to earning or making money outside of traditional clinical medicine. And that thing is actually how to translate your skills into a profitable service, product, or business, which is exactly what I'm going to be speaking to you about today. Welcome to episode 3 of a 6-part mini-series where I share how I went from depending solely on my NHS paycheck to building multiple income streams as a doctor. And if you missed episode 2, I broke down the 3 monetization vehicles, so make sure you go check that out. And if you're stuck with where to begin, I've linked a free matrix that you can download to help with that too. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 most realistic ways that you can start earning outside of medicine without starting from scratch. And to put it quite simply, they are teaching and coaching, content and media, and medical writing. Now, there are numerous ways in which you can create income streams outside of medicine. And I do go into more detail on that on my newsletter, The Second Opinion, which is easy as a click to sign up. But these 3 that I'm speaking about today are just the lowest hanging fruit. They have the lowest barrier to entry and they are guaranteed to work no matter your experience. And I know this because I've done all 3 at all stages of my career and they have low barriers to entry. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Nix. I'm a consultant anaesthetist and creator of the Portfolio Pathway, which is a proven system that helps doctors like you build income and career freedom without throwing away your hard-earned medical degree. Now, today we are getting practical. This is where theory meets action. So whether you're a junior doctor, whether you're a consultant, or you're just on a career break, these 3 vehicles are the lowest hanging fruit. And like I said, I know because I've used them in some capacity. So let's get to it. Now, if you remember in episode 2, there are 3 main ways in which you can get monetized. These are knowledge monetization, digital product monetization, and service monetization. The easiest of these 3 is service monetization, and that's simply because it's a version of giving your time for money, and then you essentially increase the amount of value for your time. So it's easy to get into because everybody has time, okay? Now, before we kind of get into this a bit more, I just want us to break away from the traditional way of doing things. So the traditional way is to get more qualifications, which most doctors think is the option or the way to get things done, but you can use qualifications. And there's nothing wrong with using qualifications, especially if you're doing something that's very technical, but not everything requires qualifications. We are in an age where value is more important than qualifications. Again, medicine or bust, I have to leave medicine if I want anything else, or I have to stay and can't do anything else. Well, there's a happy medium. You can do things outside of medicine and you can monetize without having to leave medicine. And you can leave if you want. And it sticks to the traditional pathways. Wait for permission for promotion. We at Portfolio Pathway don't do that. Here we translate our existing skills into monetizable offers. We create our own platform and our products. We do things our way. We build a personalized, multi-stream portfolio career, and it's medicine and more. Income aligned with our values and freedom through leverage skills, which is what I'm talking you through today, which is why you're here. So back to the different sort of industries or products or monetization, should I say, there are 3 currencies. If you're familiar with this concept, you can watch this at 2 times speed. If you're not, let me break it down for you. So here is knowledge, then we have time, and we have money. Now, if you need any of these 3, what you need to do is multiply the other 2. So if you need knowledge, you use time and money to achieve knowledge. You spend money at university, you spend years learning how to be a doctor, and guess what? You now have the knowledge, or you now have medical knowledge of what being a doctor is. Now, if you need more time, you usually need money and knowledge in order to save time, okay? And then if you need money, you use your time and your knowledge to create income. And that is why a service is a low-hanging fruit, because it requires time. We all have time, okay? And like I said, you increase the value of your time the more you do things. So teaching and coaching, let's get into it. So everybody who's done medicine, especially in the UK, would have done some form of teaching, whether that's in medical school, whether as an F1, mid-career registrar, or a consultant. It is part of good medical practice. And so you've been taught either well or badly. And so you have the experience of teaching. You have been taught in a classroom setting. You have been taught online. You've probably gone to courses for exams. and you've used question banks and you've done examinations, and so you are familiar with teaching. Now, coaching and mentoring is slightly more advanced, and I'm not going to go into that in too much detail in this video because the point of this video is to just show you the low-hanging fruit that are available to you. Now, like I said, you leverage your knowledge and your experience. So if we go back here, you're using your knowledge and your time in order to monetize and get some more money here. Okay, so simple examples, exam prep courses, application coaching. Let me give you an example. I spoke with a brilliant doctor who was an anaesthetist like myself, who left anesthesia to do occupational medicine. And while she was prepping for her examination, she realized that there wasn't a question bank available for what she needed. All the question banks were limited, they were really expensive. And so she did the smart thing. She leveraged her knowledge, she leveraged an opportunity, and she created a question bank as she was studying for her exams. She created a question bank and she published that question bank online, which is now available for purchase. And that is somebody who is leveraging opportunities, using her medical knowledge, using her skills to create a service based on the knowledge that she has. Brilliant. So like I said, you've navigated the path. She had navigated that path. She had done the exams and realized there wasn't a question bank that she needed, and she created one and was able to sell that online. Now, this is ideal for people who enjoy mentoring or simplifying complex topics, or just providing value and helping others that come up behind them. Now, it's a bit controversial. Some people say you shouldn't charge for teaching. Some people say you shouldn't charge for mentoring. I think it depends on the circumstance, but at your discretion, because like I said, we're building a life based on our values, so do whatever is comfortable for yourself. Right, now on to the next one, and I love this one, content and media. Now, this is based on your knowledge, your medical expertise. Now, there are so many ways you can do content and media. I'm not going to be able to cover everything in here, but hopefully this sparks some ideas. Examples of that are YouTube channels, paid newsletters, podcasts, social media consulting. And if you don't even want to get in too heavy, you can actually just start by documenting your journey. Like maybe if you're a locum, you could document your locum life or your locum year out. Or if you are a medical student, you can document that. Ali Abdal did the exact same thing when he was an F1 and F2. He just documented his journey and helped people to study. And now he runs a company that turns over £2 to £3 million a year. So, and then you can transform those ideas into assets and monetize through various channels. And if you do have any ideas for digital online creation, or you want to run it by me, by all means, get in touch and we can look it over. Now, this relies on a knowledge base. Usually in knowledge base, you can make it product based and you can make it service based, but that takes a lot more work. So knowledge base is the easier way to enter. And like I said, it's a low barrier to entry because all you need is a phone, you have one, or a laptop because you're watching this video. So you have access to social media, and all you have to do is move from being a consumer to being a creator. So you create, add value to the world. And last but not least is medical writing and medical copywriting. For me, again, any doctor should be able to do this because you have the knowledge and you can provide a service. And so the knowledge and the time that comes with service can create income. So you use your clinical knowledge to write accurate, engaging medical content. Now, there are different ways you can do that, and I do have another video on medical writing if you want to check that out. But in this instance, the lowest hanging fruit is to write for your opinion, write for yourself. You can write on LinkedIn, you can write blogs, you can write a newsletter, you can copyright for other newsletters. I don't know, maybe if you're signed up to a newsletter and you're like, actually, I could write for this newsletter, just contact the people who make the newsletter and say, can I write an issue for your newsletter? Or if you know somebody who edits or is a writer at a journal, you can just contact them and say, can I review one of your papers? Or here is an example of something I've written. What are your thoughts? So it's a very low hanging fruit because we write every single day. We are documenting, we are writing, summarizing, and communicating through written form as doctors all the time. If you remember from the previous episodes, we use a simple skill to create an opportunity, and then we scale. And this simple skill is writing, which we all have, okay? So why does this work? Well, there's a massive demand for medical literate writers. Anyone who can take a complex topic and make it understandable, and this is for you. And if you enjoy making health topics accessible to the public, or you just enjoy sharing your opinion, this one could be for you too. So like I said, if you've written clinic letters or reports, you have the skills to do this. So you can start here, but it's based on knowledge or service-based. So in summary, you want to pick teaching if you like guiding people directly. You want to pick content if you want to build attention or digital assets. And you want to pick writing if you want quiet credibility and freelance freedom. But the key is to pick one. Take your first micro step and start putting together teaching materials. Record yourself on your first YouTube short. Just don't worry about being perfect, but worry about doing. Worry about being in motion. A lot of doctors fail to get started because they're isolated and they're trying to do everything themselves in silence. But you don't need to go alone, and that is exactly why I created the Portfolio Pathway, to help doctors like you find your lane, monetize your strengths, and build structure and not stress. If you want more in-depth strategies, behind-the-scenes stories, or practical templates, subscribe to my free newsletter, The Second Opinion, and the link is below. And in episode 4, I'm going to show you how you can brand yourself both to employers and in the digital world. I'm going to teach you how to build authority without being cringy, without being salesy, and just give yourself meaning beyond a GMC number. In the meantime, check out which kind of portfolio doctor you are by watching this video where I went through the 5 types of portfolio doctor.